If you grew up Catholic or went to Catholic school, you're probably pretty familiar with the rosary. An outsider might think it's a necklace, but it's actually a set of prayer beads with which Catholics pray a patterned, repeated set of Our Fathers, Hail Marys, and Glory Bees, all while reviewing a particular set of mysteries from Scripture. In today's video, 7 Facts About Rosaries, we're going to learn just how far rosaries date back, 2 world records about rosaries, the materials used to make them in case you ever want to make a DIY rosary, and that there's actually 2 different rosaries, one used by the Catholic Church and one by the Orthodox Church. But first and foremost, if you're a subscriber who's seen my videos before, welcome back to my channel. If not, welcome to From Laura's Perspective. Check out my channel page to learn about the versatile topics of the video essay collection I add to at least once a week. If you find that my channel and essays are right for you, all you have to do is click subscribe, then tap on the subscribe button again and tap the bell icon. But that second part's only really necessary if you want to know when I've posted a video you might be interested in. Just saying. First and foremost, we're going to learn where Catholics got the rosary in the first place. The farthest back we can trace the roots of the rosary is to 3rd century hermits and monks known as Desert Fathers. Albeit the prayer rocks they used helped them keep track of praying psalms rather than prayers of the Gospels used for the rosary today. The Desert Fathers came a little closer to that when they started using these rocks to pray the Our Father 150 times. It is widely believed that in 1214 AD, Saint Dominic had a vision of the Virgin Mary. She is said to have presented him with the rosary, both the beads and the prayers to be prayed. The Hail Mary prayer, used for both the rosary and by Catholics in general, comes from Gabriel's message to Mary from the Gospel of Luke. After the full development of the Hail Mary prayer, the term rosary was finally given in 1597. For the next 320 years, the form of both the Hail Mary and the rosary remained the same. But I might have to talk about what changed another time. Fact number 2 is that deceased Catholics are often buried with the rosary. It's a bittersweet one, but it's true. When a Catholic dies, if they were particularly devout, their funeral will take place within the context of a Mass. But that's not the only uniquely Catholic funeral custom. Some Catholics ask to be buried with a rosary in honor of their devotion to their faith during their lifetime, and it's usually a rosary they frequently prayed with. Specifically, the rosary will be placed in the corpse's hands during their open casket visitation. If the body is to be cremated, the rosary has to be taken out of their hands. But if they're going to be buried like usual, the rosary will stay in their hands. Next, we're going to learn why the rosary is called the Bible on a string. This alias isn't much of a stretch when you think about it. The beads of the rosary retell the lives of Jesus and Mary, illuminating their special relationship to each other and to the entire Christian community, even the non-Catholics. The rosary also calls Catholics to meditate on several mysteries or events from the lives of Jesus and Mary. These events are listed in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, so meditating on these events with the bead necklace is the equivalent of meditating on the Gospels, period. Since praying the rosary is a means by which Catholics intend to reflect on important events in the Bible, of course the rosary is a Bible on a string. Fact number 4 is the first of the 2 records I promised to mention on this list. I'm talking about a rosary that's too big to hold in your hands and pray traditionally. This rosary is located in Beirut, and each of the 59 beads is the size of a car. The rosary itself measures 1,950 59 feet long. Devout Catholics and parish groups sometimes travel to the site of the rosary and pray it by walking along the stone beads. It's pretty far and long, but if they really commit, they'll make it. Time for the second of the 2 records I promised at the beginning of this video. The collection I'm talking about has a whopping 4,000 rosaries in it and is located in the Columbia Gorge Interpretive Center Museum. As one might expect, this rosary collection would take hours to examine closely. The rosaries in that collection were gathered by Skamania County Historical Society by Donald A. Brown, who died at the age of 80 in December 1975. The rosaries are set up from smallest to largest, the smallest ones with the beads the size of pins, the largest ones a whopping 16 feet long. Most of the rosaries in the collection were donated by ordinary people who wanted to help Brown with his collection. However, a few of those rosaries have really special historical significance, but I'm too busy sharing other facts to get too deep into that right now. Fact number 6, we're going to learn that a rosary is, in fact, something you can make yourself at home. Don't expect me to give you a full-on tutorial for a DIY rosary. You'll have to look elsewhere for that. But besides driving home the point that a DIY rosary is possible to make, I'm also going to lay out the materials required to do so. You're going to need 59 6 to 8 millimeter beads for the decades, 6 larger beads to separate the decades, 14 short pieces of chain to connect the decade beads, the separator beads, and the rosary components, wire or head pins, a rosary connector medal of a saint, a cross or crucifix, and 4 open jump rings. To assemble these into a complete rosary, you're going to need a wire cutter, flat nose pliers, and round nose pliers or step bail making pliers with a small barrel. You're going to need to watch a YouTube tutorial before you actually make the rosary, but for now, you're at least ready to go to the craft store and get the supplies. Many Catholics find that making a DIY rosary is a spiritually rewarding experience. So if you're a Catholic who's considering it, I say go for it. For fact number 7, we're going to learn that there's a separate rosary sometimes used by the Orthodox Church. Praying the rosary is a tradition of both the Catholic and Orthodox churches, albeit it's not too common in the Orthodox Church anymore. But as one might expect, since they're 2 different churches, the rosaries they pray are a little different. Whereas the Catholic rosary has 59 beads, the Orthodox rosary has 100 beads. When Catholics pray the rosary, they reflect on the mysteries of Mary and Jesus. But on the few occasions the Orthodox pray the rosary, their focus is more on the words of the prayers themselves. The rosary is a pretty awesome thing, and if these 7 facts don't prove that, I don't know what will. I'm technically Protestant, but I've always been drawn to the rosary since I went to Catholic school and was raised by a Catholic father. As of this video's upload, I only have one other video up on the topic of spirituality and religion, but there will be a lot more to come in the future. But in the meantime, there's a lot of other content for you to check out on my channel, which covers a wide array of topics. I would start by checking out the videos up on your screen. But before you do that, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed learning 7 new things about rosaries.